Hey guys, what's up? It's Nadine on day 128 inside the video matrix, the new evolution of you. And we've had a really busy couple days here on the farm. The last 2 nights we had baby goats born, and as exciting as it's also been very stressful with the cold. We've never had babies this early before. And for the last 2 days, I've been trying to keep baby goats alive. We had an emergency vet visit yesterday. And then while he was at the vet, it was like really long time. And I had two others that were failing. They were inside, but they hadn't eaten. And it was just a nightmare. And so far, between the 2 nights, we've had 10 goats born. We lost one the first morning after, and it wasn't from the cold because he was fine and up and running in the morning, but I think that honestly he got crushed from his mom, which is really sad. And then we also lost another one from Paisley, so she lost two. The fourth one that was born was a little girl, and she was just weak to begin with. And having four goats is a lot for a goat. They only have, two udders, and four goats can be very challenging. And they both had four. So, and when there's four, sometimes there's a weak one a lot of times, or smaller ones. And with the cold weather combined with the fact that they had quads, has just been a nightmare. I'm exhausted. I haven't slept much in days. I'm actually more tired than I was having my own kids, to be quite honest with you. So it's unfortunate we lost two, but I think all will be well with all of the others. So we have 8 alive right now. And so that's a blessing. And it looks like we're going to keep one of Paisley's little boys, which we're really excited about. Anyway, so with that said, I'm a little bit behind on my videos. I literally haven't had time to do anything. Plus, I had my busiest days of work through it all, and trying to keep goats alive while I'm working, and Jake's not here, and he had no phone, no battery life on his phone, and I was just like a mess. So such an emotional 2 days, highs and lows. Just when everything was going okay, next thing you know, it started going downhill again. But everything's leveling off, and it's Gavin's birthday today. It's the day before Valentine's Day. He was born on the 13th, and he is 7 years old today. So on top of all the craziness that's going on, we are having a birthday party somehow today. My mom is so kind to be making food for his birthday, which I didn't realize the goats were even going to be born. And what a blessing it is that usually I make the food, that she's making it this time, because I hardly could make the cake. We pulled it off together this morning. We made the cake. And here I am doing my video. It's all about commitment. I'm following through with what I said I was going to do, as tired as I am. As much as sometimes I don't always want to do a video because I have so much going on in my life, here I am following through, doing what I said I was going to do. And I think that's really important in life, that we show up and do what we say we're going to do. So the question today is, how often do I think about freedom? Well, this is such a great question. I love this question because I think about it all the time. And I want to start off by saying that I am very free. I am very free and fortunate and blessed. Jake and I both own our own businesses. We're home with our 4 kids every single day, 24/7. We're just on the homestead doing the farm life. Also, I'm in the health and wellness industry, so I help people, and I work on my own schedule. And yet at the same time, with farm life comes lack of freedom in a sense, because we have so many animals, and it's really hard to find people to watch the farm, that you can trust. And fortunately, we had some family members recently come and stay here and take care of our animals, which was such a blessing. We're so grateful for that. Um, so yeah, so it's kind of that I'm free, but yet we're stuck with the farm, right? But we love it. We wouldn't have it any other way because honestly, we're homebodies. You know, I traveled a lot when I was younger and I've seen a lot of the world. Um, Not a lot of the world, but a lot in general, for sure. I've met a lot of awesome people. And some other topics. Are we free in the United States? Not really. You know, it's supposed to be a free country. Yes and no. Yes, compared to other countries, sure, absolutely. We have a lot of freedoms that other countries don't. And at the same time, I can't go into a grocery store without a mask, without being reprimanded and, you know, yelled at and told to put on my mask. You know, so we're not really free in that sense. I think that the government has a lot of control over us in this country. And so Jake and I often talk about moving, whether it's to a more conservative state or out of the country altogether. I'm not sure, but it's very interesting. I met a nurse the other day. She was a new client of mine, never met her before, a young girl in her 20s. And um, she was talking about leaving the United States. I was like, wow. And it's so interesting how synchronicity happens in life. You know, it's like we were just discussing different countries, different options, and lo and behold, other people are having the same thoughts because we're really not that free in this country when you think about it. And most of us are slaves to the system. You know, which I mean, whatever, right? But at the same time, it's all about mindset. And I feel like you can kind of control, um, you know, what you think about is your reality. So if I think that I'm a slave or if I think that I don't have freedom, then I won't. Um, and so I also am very aware to be cautious of how I talk because at the end of the day, no one really has control over us. We are in control of ourselves. So that's something important to think about. And so, in that sense, I feel like I am very free, and I have to make sure that I remind myself that I am in control and I am free. It's just, you know, as free as Jake and I are, I think that we always talk about, you know, stepping it up a notch and being even freer. Our goal is to really just live and, again, not be slaves to the system. You know, the taxes here in New England are through the roof, they're out of control. And it's like you think about how many people live here, and we're not the only ones. Everybody else's is expensive too. Like, what the actual hell are they doing with the money? You have to wonder. Like, I don't mind paying like normal taxes, but I mean, it's just an astronomical amount. So what are we working for? Like, for what? You know, like, you know, I don't need a big house. I don't need a fancy car. My cars are paid off. My house is getting there. You know what I mean? So what freedom to me would be no debt whatsoever, and I really have very, very, very little compared to most people. And but we want to be even freer. You know what I mean? So, you know, maybe living in a community somewhere where we're literally just living off the land and we're not worried in the back of our mind like, oh, we have to come up with all this money to pay taxes or whatever the case is, or the water bill, this huge, you know, all these expenses for what is it for, you know? So when you could be living off of, you know, solar and, you know, again, just living off the land. That's the other thing, the electric company. So it's not just the taxes, but the electric company here, they've monopolized it. There is no other option. And it's so funny because Jake and I, we complained and we complained and we called because it just didn't make sense. It doesn't add up to what they're charging. I mean, it is if I told you what we paid for electricity, you'd keel over, seriously. And we called, they finally come. They put in a new meter on the side of the house. And what happens? The next month it drops. Now a low bill for us is like 400 and something. Let's say it was $450. That's low. We were like, yeah, that's great. Now you guys are probably like, what? That's great. Yeah, no kidding. So then what happens over time, it using the same amount of electricity, it crept up, it crept up, crept up, and crept up. So they shut us up for a minute. And this is how you can tell they're in full control. They crept up, crept up, crept up to now we're back to where we started, paying a ridiculous amount of electricity. So between that and the taxes, it's like, get me the hell out of here. And it's so funny because a lot of you know we were on a 2-week road trip to Georgia, right? So I wasn't running my water for colonics because that's a big one. You know, the people that were staying here, they weren't using much. You know, they're not. What are they doing? Nothing. And whatever. It was higher than it's ever been with us gone for 2 weeks. In fact, our pellet stove broke, which is upstairs, which is electric. So they were heating the house with our wood stove down here, non-electric. So they didn't even have the heat going. I wasn't working, nothing, and it was higher than it's ever been. I can't believe these scam artists. I just can't believe it. So yeah, it aggravates me, and I think about freedom all the time. I think about being free from these things, as free as we already are, and I am very grateful for my life. We really want to take it to another level of freedom, and so who knows where we'll end up, but that's always in the back of our minds. So yes, I always think about freedom. I always think about freedom. And with that, I'm gonna move on to the next video. So I'll be posting a few videos today because I'm a little bit behind with all that's been going on the farm. And I will see you in a few minutes for day 129. Bye guys.